Hello everybody, my name is RagingRaptor and welcome to a new video. Today it's even something more different than usual. It's not really a full-blown discussion, it's more of a preview about what could happen. As you might have saw in your YouTube feed or something like that, Wargaming itself uploaded a 20-minute video about 9.20 and what they are doing about it, and what they want to do about it, and so on. Well, I watched the video and I watched it several times, and I cut out pieces I want to discuss with you. In the beginning I want to be more serious, and in the end we'll have a little bit of fun about their mistakes. Let's say it like this. Anyway, this video was highly informative in my opinion, and it also I would really suggest to you to watch it probably first before you watch my video, because sure, I take out the most important parts of the video, but it's not the whole sack, so it will be just parts cut out. So probably you should watch the video to have the full context, what they wanted to achieve with it, and then go back to this video. But anyway, let's start. The first thing is about their Rebalance 2.0. Let's listen what they have to say.
Now we want to make changes that will be applied where they're needed. If the vehicle turns out to be a little bit weak, we'll buff it in the next update, or in the update following the next one.
We can't buff vehicle branches all at once. That's why we're introducing the elements of Balance 2.0, which we've long been talking about and which we tested in the sandbox, to the game just now. It's a systematic process, and it'll be continued.
Okay, first of all, they're talking about a systematic process. I have to say this is a mixed bag. Yes, I was on a sandbox server and I played every single sandbox server. And no, they just make bulk buffs and nerfs for every single one of the tanks. If it was with penetration of guns, accuracy of guns, RT changes, there was never really something where they just put out several different buffs or nerfs for certain types of tanks. Sure, I do like the idea that they're saying they want to act faster. They see that the tank is weak, they want to buff it the next patch or the following patch. We see it right now. We already have a lot of changes to 9.20, but we already know what is in 9.21 happening with the FV Stage 2 changes. So this is something which they certainly are looking forward to, but again, it's a mixed bag. They didn't really test it on a sandbox server. Seriously, balancing a game, you can do it 24/7 if you want to be honest here. But at least what I already discussed in my Is World of Tanks Dead video, they're doing something like League of Legends is doing, that they're doing more iterations of buffs and nerfs, looking at stats and looking how good they are and what they can do. I have to say though, yeah, Mouse is a strong tank and it's finally getting nerfed with the Type 5 heavies, but still, it comes in 9.20. The Mouse was buffed in 9.17.1. We have the 9.80, 9.19, 9.191. We have 3 to 4 patches. I'm not sure if there's an 18.1 patch in between. 3 to 4 patches till it took to see, yeah, a tank looks like it's a little bit strong. We might need to nerf it. So I do hope that with their Balance 2.0, which is just the bright name to say, hey, we finally know how to that we need to act faster in balancing, that some things like this not happen anymore, that it takes 3 to 4 patches till a really strong tank is getting tuned down again. But next up, they want to talk about distinctive features.
Tanks required some distinctive features. To put it simply, they needed to be buffed.
No. Wargaming, no. A distinctive feature doesn't mean you need to buff a tank. It simply does not mean that. It's unequal. What, for example, let's look at the Swedish tanks. What is the heavy tank's distinctive feature? 12 degrees gun depression, really strong frontal turret armor. Yes, that's a distinctive feature. What is the distinctive feature of the Swedish tank destroyer line? Yes, it's their siege mode and really strong DPM. That's a distinctive feature. But Just taking a tank and make it unrealistic strong gun mantle and buffing what is it called, the cupola to 100mm from 30mm and giving it a ridiculous DPM is not a distinctive feature. Buffing doesn't mean a distinctive feature. The new Foch, which has a 4-shot outloaded, that is a distinctive feature. The AC MLE 48, which has now a 3-shot outloader in a 9.20, that is a distinctive feature. And I think you start to know what I mean. For example, i7, its distinctive features is impenetrable turret and decent enough mobility to use it. But just taking one tank, making an unrealistic gun metal at it and putting its DPM above and beyond to be the best tier 10 TD's DPM is not a distinctive feature. You really need to look at your wording, maybe even rethink what you exactly want to do. I sure do like the buffs and nerfs, but yes, let's put those things a little bit out of apart. But, well, what is Wargaming saying about the Foch B, or the Foch 155 to be exact?
As for the Foch branch, the situation is quite simple. The Tier 10 tank is bad. It's not able to compete with its counterparts. We made a decision to fix it.
So, what do they say? We have a bad tank in the game, which they claim right now, and that's the Foch 155. And their plan to fix it is making a new tank with a completely different gun. This is again making not a lot of sense. When a tank is bad, you look what you can do better, or why is it bad? Is it probably the DPM, which is basically the problem with the Foch 155? Or is it something else? For example, let's look at an example. Why is the i7 bad? Or why is the 7 not that good? Well, it has not really good DPM and it has horrible soft stats. Well, in the new update, things are getting a little bit buffed up. It gets more HP, which is definitely something which makes this tank less bad, in quotation marks, because i7 is not too bad or not too shabby. But yeah, I really don't understand why exactly they are saying that. Why do they remove a tank because they think it's bad? Is the Foch 155 bad for the game, for example, like the Waffenträger of E100 was? We were talking about this right after that, where they're saying something about toxic vehicles. But again, is the Foch 155 a toxic vehicle because it has 5 seconds reload time for 750 damage, before it has 45 seconds reload time for its whole clip of 3 shots? Sure, in 10 seconds, no, we need to be realistic here, in 15 seconds you can clip for 2250 damage. Yes, 2250 damage. Yes, that's a lot. You can one clip an i7, not anymore. After update, you can one clip every single tier 10 medium tank. That's strong, I understand that. But right now the problem is that you used to play it as an aggressive tank because it had armor. Everything got stripped from armor. Sure, they're buffing it again. That's a good part. That's a good part. But the cupolas are again really weak, and the accuracy of the gun doesn't really allow it to snipe. So I really have to say, rethink. Just because one tank is bad doesn't mean you need to completely fix it with deleting it basically, or just replacing it with something new. This is something which doesn't really make a lot of sense. But, well, we're talking about replacing a bad tank. What is Wargaming saying about replacing?
The new Foch with a 120mm gun is almost equal to the Foch 155. However, we decided that the latter would stay in the game. If you have the Foch 155 in your garage when update 9.20 is released, you'll keep it and additionally get the Foch 120. It's our gift to those who tried hard to research this tank and add it in their garage. We're planning to use this scheme in the future when modifying Tier 10 vehicles. It'll apply to almost all modified vehicles, except very toxic ones.
So he's talking about toxic ones. I would say Waffenträger of E100 is a really toxic vehicle. But what is something really pronounced, or something which you just think, whoa, I never heard that before. They want to do it again. What does this might mean to the game? Well, it's the dream is here that we could actually be able to get the Chieftain Mark 6, a tank which many people have requested already, and it's already in game. And I think it's logical. The FV215B is a Wargaming made tank. There were no plans at all where a Conqueror chassis was used. No, the FV215B 183 chassis is used with a Conqueror turret on its back. This is a complete fake by Wargaming. And I would understand that it's logical that a tank which is fake dash bad, that we could replace it with the Chieftain Mark 6. And honestly, I do hope so. I already discussed why exactly Wargaming did not implement the WZ111 as a replacement for the 113. It's because they're two completely different tanks. Sure, you can also say this to the 215B and the Chieftain Mark 6. Just the 215B is, as I said, a fake tank. It's non-existent in real life. There were no plans for it. So yeah. Also, we will hear just slightly later that, well, might be something new in the bush, like a Guerrilla 15 rebalance or maybe a replacement. Otherwise, I can't really think out of my mind right now what tanks they could say that on tier 10 needs to be replaced. I really don't know at the moment right now what tank would be replaced. Let me know in the comment section below if you know something, because otherwise we are going to something new about the T-54 and its two stats.
4. The alternative gun, in its turn, is tailored for fighting at a closer distance. Its penetration capacity isn't that good, but the gun has excellent damage per minute. This gun is the king of close quarters battles. So with the T-54, you can now experience two completely different gameplay styles. Play it in totally different ways.
So yeah, I want to talk about that. Why would you use a gun on a tank which gets armor buff on its turret, has a rather strong frontal hull armor of 120 millimeters, taking a gun which is used for sniping when you can have a gun which has a much better DPM or rather good soft stats? I don't know why. I am a good player and I don't know why. You might argue, well, iron time and penetration value. But guys, again, the T-54 is not really a sniper tank. You should constantly go to the gun which has better DPM. It just simply makes more sense. And one other thing about the gun with more DPM is both have the same heat penetration, and we all know how much people love to spam heat with the T-54, because 330mm penetration with heat in the tier 9 medium tank is completely stupid in my opinion. But again, I really don't understand why exactly they want to keep one gun so much alive. Sure, yeah, well, out of 100 battles I would go 100 times with the better DPM gun, because the better DPM makes such a big difference. But yeah, they are probably also struggling with distinctive features for the Object 140, the Object 430 and the T62A. Let's listen what they have to say about that.
There were many questions about how we were going to draw a line between the Object 140 and T62A in terms of gameplay, and what we were going to do with the Object 430. We decided not to overhaul the whole branch at once. We'll see how the new T44 and T54 are doing, and only then we'll decide if we should divide the roles of the T62A and Object 140, and most importantly, what to do with the Object 430. These vehicles will undergo some changes as soon as we've come to a decision and tested different variants of their behavior. Of course, this would be logical, especially concerning gameplay of the T62A and Object 140, but it's easier said than done.
Well, they struggle to find an idea to make those tanks distinctive featured. Well, let's think about it. The distinctive feature for the AMX 30B was giving it more hull armor, turret armor. check for the Object 140, giving them a really good DPM. Oh, the 430 already has that. No, seriously, Wargaming, I do like that you try to do the same thing like you do with World of Warships, where every new ship line has more or less a distinctive feature. When it is with the German battleships, it's Hydro and Turtleback armor. When it is the German destroyers, Hydro. When it is the British cruisers, AP only and such things. Here I have to say, the distinctive feature of the Object 140 is that it has much better it has 1 degree better gun depression as the T62A. For that it had a worse turret armor. Why do you remove that? Now the Object 140 is a simply better T62A. Better hull armor, because it has a better effective armor, better turret armor basically, and more gun depression. Doesn't really make sense to me. I honestly right now, I'm nitpicking, I know, but I honestly don't know right now what Wargaming could do to make those tanks more distinct right now. I sincerely don't know. I'm happy to know what they want to do. Right now they don't have an idea either. But again, like, making one tank exactly the same as the other but in every single thing better is simply not making a lot of sense. Why don't you say, like, you make an Object 140 like a tank which has good fuel range, but not that good DPM of those three. Let's say you make the 430 a really good sniper camouflage tank with mediocre DPM. And what about making the T62A a brawler tank with the best DPM of all of them, but worse fuel range and worse camo? Maybe do it like that? I don't know. But Wargaming is also struggling with other tanks, balancing them new, which they say about the i6 and KV5, especially the KV5.
And after the new matchmaker was implemented in the game, they lost their competitive edge. Previously, these vehicles were tailored for special conditions, but we will definitely deal with this issue in the future. And we didn't forget about the KV5. At the moment, we're carrying out experiments on how to get it right in every way. As soon as we're ready, we'll definitely show and tell you what we've decided to do with it.
Okay, Wargaming is finally saying something about the KV5. Everybody says the KV5 is useless in the current meta. I approve. 167 millimeters of AP penetration is simply not enough with a huge cupola weak spot, with a huge turret weak spot, with a huge weak turret. Especially when you are 24/7 fighting against tier 9 games, and if you're not 24/7 fighting against tier 9 in tier 9 tanks, you have, yes, a tier 8 only battle, which is not really that good either. Well, at least they're doing something. If they are just saying this to keep us on bay, I don't know, but at least they are saying something about it. At least it's something. But they also say something about the Guerrilla 15 rebalance or even replacement, which is kind of interesting.
Issues with the grill. As a matter of fact, we were ready to launch one of the variants of its improvement either in update 9.20 or in the next patch. But then, I'll be frank with you, we decided not to hurry and conduct additional internal tests for the variants of the grill's modification, profound modification. Consequently, you shouldn't expect the grill to be rebalanced or changed for something else until the end of the year. We continue to work on it.
Well, that is actually interesting. What could they do about the Guerrilla 15? They already nerfed it. Luckily, I finally have 3 marks of excellence on it. Yes, a little bit of self-promotion, but something about the Guerrilla 15. In the current meta, it's just rather strong because it has a really accurate gun, decent enough mobility, and decent enough of DPM, and a rather fast firing trajectory. I don't know what they want to do. Are they like, I can understand the concept of a Waffenträger or ein Waffenträger. Ein Waffenträger, it trägt Waffen, it carries weapons. So I would think about the Guerrilla 15 might be getting a refit with a 12.8cm gun. And I even think that this could make the Guerrilla 15 a little bit weaker. Why exactly weaker? Because the Guerrilla 15 is really strong when it comes to boom and zoom. Drive out, 1 second aim time, shoot, go in again. And you do 750 damage most of the time. With a 12.8cm gun, this damage could go down to 490 to 560 damage, depending on what gun they want to take. So this is right now what I personally think about the Guerrilla 15 rebalance, but it's hard to tell. they said they had something kind of ready for 9.20 already, and now they're postponing it to New Year's. Don't forget, Waffenträger auf E100 is in the game again. It is on a GV E100 pull, but yeah, it's in the game. It's in the game stats as a premium vehicle for the Chinese server, but it's modeled and it's in the files. You can watch it on tanks.gg. But lastly, what about the future?
However, this doesn't mean that the next patch that follows 9.20 will be full of nerfs, which we postponed and moved from this update to the next one. This means that we will continue our systematic work on rebalancing the current branches.
Okay, Wargaming. I honestly don't care if the next update has nerfs in it, because nerfs are good for game balance, game meta changes, game life. You are the game developers. Do something with the game. Make the game again interesting. Probably shift the meta from heavy tanks to something else. And yeah, for that we afterwards have a little bit of a joke. No, seriously, like, I don't care. Rebalancing also means nerfs. So this is something like, I want to see nerfs of tanks when they are too strong. And not just buffs and rebalances. In a rebalance, a good nerf is also important. But anyway, I would say Wargaming is finally doing something. Like, personally, I feel like something is going on. Next update, we already have something like for 9.21, we already have changes to 59 pattern, to to Centurion Action X, to the all-beloved, what's it called? Now, FV Stage 2, to the Convoy, a new gun for the Convoy, changes to the Challenger. So they are actually trying to rebalance and do something, so I have hopes. But guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Let me know how you like the content, because a lot more work again went into it. If I like it, I'll do more. As always, thanks for watching and good luck on the battlefield. Bye bye.